Hello everyone, I'm MrBKainX, and I'm joined by...
B.H.
And we are here to review the 10th episode of Avatar The Last Airbender, Jet. B.H, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So this is a pretty interesting one. Not probably one of my favorites, or really I never seen really anyone call it one of like their favorite episodes. But I think it's good in what it's trying to portray, which is kind of ends justifying the means, which is always a good message to send. So things I really actually do like about this one is the colors and the fluency of how it's drawn is really beautiful. The fight scene in the forest is really, really, really well choreographed, and I really appreciate how they really incorporate the Bagua or Bagua kind of circle walking movements by Aang. So that's really cool to see. We get Jet, who's a pretty cool character. At this point, he gets a little more depth later on, but he's cool. He's got those kind of twin blades or twin hooks, which is nice. Yeah, I mean, I like the use of kind of like the drawing, like the drawings they used, I guess for like budgetary reasons, instead of having them explain that backstory about the flood. They kind of go to like those quick little like panel drawings, which I think worked well. There's a couple of homages to Return of the Jedi, which is nice. And yeah, it's very comedic. I found myself laughing quite a few times. In such a serious toned episode as well. So I mean, overall, yeah, it's definitely a very fun episode. Brendan, if you want to join in.
Yeah, it's a good episode to rewatch. And it is more humorous than I remember, and I think I've said that about a couple of the episodes. There's certain humorous moments that stick out or become memes in the fandom, but there's a lot of little funny moments that you end up forgetting till you rewatch. So those are always nice. Jet's an interesting character. I like what is done with him in this and later episodes. I know there's just a lot of people in the fandom, or I don't know if I would say a lot, but a significant amount of people that just really never liked the character. And I mean, I think he works. I mean, maybe I think he works fine for what he is. I think you can understand where he's coming from, even if it's very clear that he's taking it too far. I think it's sort of a good part of what Avatar is about is showing, the grayness of war, and good people on the bad side, as well as in this case bad people on the quote unquote good side. And of course, connected to that is how war affects people. That Jet is the way he is because his family was killed, his life was torn apart. And there are people that has also happened to, like Katara and Sokka, that, make a more positive path about it, but that's not going to happen for every kid. And we basically see this as, a collection of kids ranging from, I forget if Jet's 15 or 16, who's sort of mid to late teens
16,
age,
I think.
And then down to I think the Duke is 8 years old. So and we're talking about that age range, and some of the kids in the group may even be younger. So it's you have in this Nickelodeon show, it's I mean, I laugh because it is somewhat goofy, and there is a lot of comedy in this episode. They give vibrance and humor to the kids, but it's a pretty messed up situation of these kids that are victims of the effects of war that are now basically being turned into child terrorists by a teenager. That if the plan had worked out, there would have been blood on the hands of an 8-year-old.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, and also on Aang and Katara. I mean, it's pretty.
Oh yeah, that's pretty messed too. That he had, especially that he was so. I mean, we see a bit of his more conflicted nature in book two, but just in this episode, it's very much that he sees absolutely nothing wrong with the idea of lying to, Aang, who's 12 and Qatar 14, and that are just like good people that he just met. He feels no remorse or any doubt about that tricking them into doing this thing and lying about it is in any way wrong. He notices, like, he knows almost, he has to know from a certain perspective that it's wrong, or at least that people like Katara and Aang would think it's wrong, which is why, he doesn't straight up say, hey, I'm going to try and flood this town. He knows he has to trick them because he recognizes that most people, even other people affected by the war in the same way he is, won't think about it this way.
Yeah, definitely. And it also kind of rationalizes, it gives us kind of more of a moral compass for Sokka. So, like, he's a person who's willing to kill, but he's not going to, murder innocent people to get to, to do that. It just, I think it gives a little bit more, I guess, complexity to kind of his moral standings. He's kind of like your classic pacifist, where he's, not going to go on the offensive for no reason. He's just going to defend what his family or who he cares about. And he's willing to murder in self-defense, but not offensively.
It is interesting because like Sokka's been one of the ones in like earlier episodes to talk about like the Fire Nation being bad, or like to fight the Fire Nation people, and how they don't go into it a ton, but that like Jet almost seems like, certainly compared to Katara and Aang, he sees Sokka as more similar to him, both in like they're being a bit older and in leadership roles, and I guess in that he expects Sokka to be more like the more pragmatic, practical guy, and he expects that he may understand more than they would that this is something he has to do. And you can see towards the end of the episode, they're like, I mean, at the end of the episode, Jet's more angry, but in the episode, they both are like disappointed in each other, not seeing the others, not thinking the way that the other one does. Sokka's not like Jet at this point is kind of enraged, but earlier he's more just disappointed in Sokka, and Sokka too at the end he could like throw a fit about Jet, but he's just like, he's disappointed that Jet, he says that he turned his back basically on, not, how do I want to say this, not like Jet has seen it as the good people, or the good people versus the Fire Nation, even if it means hurting other, innocent Earth Kingdom villagers. And Sokka's like, you are the one that has turned your back on your people because you aren't helping them like this. So it's a pretty powerful scene.
Yeah, definitely. It's a really good ending. I think the concluding arc of the episode is really really well done. I had mentioned before that the fight in the trees is probably one of my favorites from like book one. It's very well choreographed. And just I love that like music they play with the drums and got the chanting going. So that's definitely the strong point of the entire episode. I feel is that last 10 or 7 minutes probably is really good. But yeah,
I guess. I just wanted to, say a bit more that in terms of leadership, there's a nice line I remember Sokka towards the end about how, it's clear to some extent to the other freedom fighters may buy into what, Jet thinks, but the way Pipsqueak says it is that they're basically just doing it because this is what Jet says, and things work out well, and they've just become accustomed to doing whatever Jet tells them to do.
Yeah.
And, Sokka recognizes that that's not what a leader should be. A leader shouldn't be someone that, basically, has an army of people that just do whatever he says because he says it.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's definitely interesting. I mean, they make a lot of jokes about the instincts, and especially like at the end of the episode where he's like literally flying him the same way.
The wrong, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, throughout the show, we see Aang and Katara kind of always either question or at least give feedback to Sokka, which is important because he kind of is the leader of the group. So it's just interesting to see the differences between Jet and how he leads and how kind of Aang and Katara will kind of always voice their opinion on something. They're not just gonna follow Sokka because he's the leader of the group.
Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to say about the episode? I think we've covered a lot of the stuff that's important.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like a really good, like first season kind of, kind of fillery sort of episode. Nice world building. It gives us a really good character, in my opinion, in Jet, who comes back like later on. So that's nice, and yeah, it's just kind of like a fun little episode. Yeah,
it's one of those book one episodes that's it's good at face value. It's enjoyable. I like the scenery, like the woods with the trees changing color.
Yeah,
and also like just little things like when we see the village be flooded, we see a doll. And that's when we think that like it may have actually happened and everybody died, but then later on we see a little girl take the same doll out of the river because they were evacuated.
Yeah.
And I like the thing about Sokka trying to convince the village to evacuate, and the old man sticking up for him, showing that like the good thing he did earlier did sort of come back. Pays it forward in the end, helping him in what he was trying to do, and of course, the village as a whole.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, I will say that there's a few lines that are maybe like a bit, like not too cheesy, but like a bit on the nose about like what they're trying to say. I'm trying to think about like specifically now, but just that. I'll just leave it at that. There's a couple lines that are maybe a bit too on the nose for what they are. But overall, though, I think it is like a really good book one episode. And it's, again, one of those episodes where it becomes more... I mean, it's good for the themes, and it's enjoyable to watch, but it's also more important because of how these characters come back later.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
We'll get to that when we review book 2. Eventually.
Yeah.
Alright, well, everyone, thanks for watching the review. Make sure to leave your thoughts on the episode in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And see you for the next one.